Hey guys, it's Kristen and welcome to a new episode of The Dive, a music discovery series where I deep dive into new music and new artists. I will leave a link so you can check out past episodes of The Dive, and also make sure to check out the description box below for a Spotify playlist where you can listen to all of the songs featured in this video. Without further ado, let's dive on into it. First up is Brett Gray. Not only is he the hilarious standout from Netflix's new coming-of-age high school dramedy series On My Block, but he can sing too! The 21-year-old Philadelphia native grew up doing musical theater, but you can clearly hear that he has musical chops in the new single that he released at the beginning of June called Old Thing Back. It has this really great 90s R&B throwback kind of sound, and also reminds me of kind of like old school JoJo, which I am all about. And the last that I heard, Brett was coming out with an EP called Easy Days for his birthday on August 7th, and I'm really interested to see what he comes out with. He said that the EP is a musical retelling of his first heartbreak and is inspired by the sounds of his childhood, like Usher's Confessions, and just like music from the late 90s and early 2000s. Let's get into Lee Marie Johnson. I remember watching her grow up on the Fine Brothers React series. While she was on that, she also was uploading her own YouTube content, musical performances, sketch comedies, different things like that. Her career really blew up and she became a big YouTube personality, and she ended up working on things with Nickelodeon, Awesomeness TV. Around 2016, I would say, her career kind of slowed down a little bit, but when she came back, she revealed that she actually had signed a record deal with Capitol Records. She's released two really beautiful and emotional singles since then, DNA and Cold Heart Killer, but the song that I've been really into is one that she just came out with recently called Champagne. The song is about raising a glass of champagne as a goodbye to an ex who just kept on letting her down. There's this beautiful and effortless airiness to her voice that pairs really well with the cinematic string background. And I think that with all of the songs that we've gotten from Leah so far, she just has this really incredible depth to her songwriting, to her vocals that's so impressive. And I'm really curious to see what is an EP or an album gonna look like from her. I think that she definitely has what it takes to make something really incredible. Next up is Andreas Maas and Melanie Furman. Andreas is a Swedish singer-songwriter who actually used to go by his birth name and was a Christian musician, but over time has kind of changed that path a little bit. He's had a really complicated relationship with self-acceptance and sexuality and addiction, and that's something that he's struggled with his whole life, but he has been really open and honest about it in recent interviews and has been really focused on kind of healing and making music that is for himself, but also for people that are dealing and struggling with those issues as well, which I think is really awesome because it's so relatable. There's so many people that can connect with that and be like, wow, I'm not alone. And then Melanie Furman is a pop artist based out of Nashville. The two of them are good friends and they collaborated on an electronic type of song called Lonely, but I personally am really into their acoustic version of the track. It's really beautiful. The harmonies are on point. I love the acoustic, more stripped down version because I feel like you can really focus more on the words and how their voices mix together, and I just think it's so powerful. And the song itself, it sounds like it's about a toxic relationship, and it is, but not a romantic relationship. It is about addiction and Andreas' struggle with it. Next up is Rule, an Australian singer-songwriter who actually got a start because he sent a demo of himself singing James Bay's Let It Go to Grammy-winning producer M. Phases. And M. Phases loved it, and I can understand why, because this kid, his voice is insane, and he's only 15 right now, so imagine whatever age he sent that demo. He was a little kid. He just released his first EP, Ready, in June, and it has this really bluesy R&B aesthetic, and he already sounds so established as an artist that I can't even imagine what he's gonna sound like in a few years. It's gonna be mind-blowing. The track that made it onto my playlist was Dazed and Confused, but the EP is just so impressive as a whole. The songs are so simple and relatable, but are done in such a high-concept way. Like, he has a song called Don't Tell Me on the EP, which he wrote when he was 12 years old, and it was about the situation where he was telling his family he had a crush on a girl, and his family was like, you're too young to have a crush, what are you talking about? And he wrote this whole song about it. It sounds very established and like it was written by a veteran, like someone who's been doing this for years and years. The quality is just so high, and I can't believe it for someone that's so young. Obviously, Rule is very serious about his music and his craft, and I can't wait to see what happens in years to come, because to already have such a strong EP at only 15, it's mind-blowing. This kid's gonna be like a superstar. Next up, let's get into British singer-songwriter Len. Her new single, Cheap Talk, is absolutely a pop anthem. It features Len's very commanding vocals. There's just something about it that just feels very open, feels very like whole and full, and I love that. And the song is kind of like this message to an ex that didn't treat her right. And she worked with Bristol producer Lex on the song, and I really thought their songwriting process for this track was very interesting. It started out with Len ranting about the situation with her ex to Lex, who was jotting down notes, and then they were able to take a ton of these raw, honest, lyrical ideas from the conversation that they had and turned it into this song. Last month I talked about Christina Aguilera's upcoming 8th album, Liberation, and one of my favorite singles off that album, which was the one that she did with Demi Lovato, Fall in Line. And after listening to the album, I have 2 more tracks that I wanted to add to my playlist this month because I just couldn't get enough of them. And those tracks are Maria and Unless It's With You. With Maria, she was really inspired by her favorite movie, The Sound of Music, and the character Maria, who is very often misunderstood and is this free spirit that is trying to kind of find and own her freedom. The song was produced by Che Pope and Kanye West, and it actually features a sample of Maria, You Were the Only One, off of Michael Jackson's debut album from 1972. The other track, Unless It's With You, is a really heartfelt song that she worked on with songwriter and producer Ricky Reed, who's worked with tons of artists including Halsey, Meghan Trainor, Jason Derulo, and the two of them came up with the song after having a whole conversation about marriage. And I really like the message of this song because I feel like Christina Aguilera is kind of saying that like she doesn't want to be a person who like falls in love and becomes weak and like can't be on their own, and she doesn't want this like fairy tale, like not reality type of love. She wants this kind of love that like when she finds the person, it's, you know, she'll want to get married and do those things because she has found the right person. And I can relate to that. And there were several other songwriters listed on this track, but the one that really stood out to me was Teddy Geiger. I think she's an incredible songwriter and has worked with Shawn Mendes and a bunch of other artists and just created really incredible music. So I was really excited to see that she was a part of this song. Let's get into Stanaj. He was born to Albanian immigrant parents and raised in New York City. When he was first getting started, he would perform anywhere in karaoke bars, lounges, and then he and his brother decided they wanted to move to California and try to pursue music by performing in different venues out there. I first learned about Stanaj after seeing him perform at an Adweek event a couple years ago in New York City, and I was completely blown away. The high notes that this man can hit, oh my god, out of this world. So good. And I actually also saw him perform on tour with JoJo last year, and that was an amazing show as well because I love the two of them so much. A few of my favorite songs of his include Ain't Love Strange, Goddess, and Sleep Alone, and most recently he just came out with a brand new single called Dirty Mind with Ty Dolla $ign. The regular version of the song is great, and there's also this really fun remix by Sam Burson that I also really enjoy. It's a really fun, sexy summer track, a little bit tropical vibes going on, and he's singing about his love interest and how he wants to be with her, either in real life or, as the song suggests, in his dirty mind. Next up, Charlotte Lawrence makes her triumphant return to The Dive. I talked about her a few months ago when her song Sleep Talking came out. Now she's back and busier than ever. She has a new EP out called Young. She's about to go on tour with Love, and then right after that she's starting her own headlining tour. I think what's so great about Charlotte's EP Young is that you really get a lot of different levels and emotions in just 6 songs in a layered, relatable way. She touches upon growing up and relationships and more on tracks that range from, you know, the effortless, self-aware breakup anthem on Sleep Talking to Desire and Empowerment and Wait Up. One of the songs I've been personally listening to this month is Everybody Loves You, which is like this painful, delicate, and vulnerable ballad. It just really highlights her vocals. And finally, let's get into Zach Abel. He is an English singer-songwriter, and actually his debut album came out last year at the end of 2017. It's called Only When We're Naked. Even though his track Beautiful Life came out in October, I only just discovered it now, but I really loved the powerful, uplifting message of the song. It's very positive, it's very fun. The inspiration for the song came after getting some really bad news, and he just started seeing everything in a really negative light. But lucky for him, he had someone in his life who was able to kind of shake that out of him and be like, look, if you want to be positive, you need to like think positive, choose to think positively. And from there he was able to make this song. I think it has a really fun beat for the summer, so this is definitely a song I will be bumping. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it gave you some music suggestions to add to your playlists. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know if you've listened to any of these songs or these artists, or if you have other recommendations of music that I should check out. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click that subscribe button because I come out with new videos every week. See ya!